Welcome to Pique Your Interest, your go-to podcast for all things mortgage and real estate. Hosted by Tanner Greenwald and Tim Malaskis. We bring you expert insights to help you buy, sell, and invest with confidence. Let's dive in.
Welcome back to the Pique Your Interest podcast, the podcast where we seek to demystify all things real estate related. I'm Tim Malaskis, a loan officer here at the First Home Branch.
And I am Tanner Greenwald with the Greenwald team of First Home Mortgage.
And we are bringing you part 2 today of a series which we started last week on home buyer's remorse. Just a quick recap. Last week we talked about buyer's remorse, what it is. It's essentially just regretting something about the purchase of your home, whether it be, an interaction that you had or something about the house or something about the financing or budgeting or whatever it might be. We talked about some things some common things that people regret, whether it's like hidden costs or unexpected repairs or overpaying for the home, not getting an inspection, stuff like that. We also covered some pre-purchase preparation, things like doing research and planning ahead, creating a budget, and just the sort of due diligence that you need to perform before you get into something serious like buying a house. And then today we're going to delve a little bit more into as you're buying a house, how to handle emotions and the psychological aspect, because that plays a huge role in all of this. And I'll let our resident psychological expert Tanner take over from here.
So fun fact, I actually went to school and I have a psychology degree, so I find this interesting.
It's perfect.
It is. It's perfect for me. So I'm going to try not to talk too much about it. But so when you're buying a home, there's a lot of emotions involved. Anxiety, fear, happiness, just a bunch of them. So how do you manage those types of emotions that you get when you're looking and you're house hunting and you're, putting in offers left and right and you might not be getting them? So first things first, fear of missing out, FOMO. How to avoid FOMO. Typically, I feel like everyone has FOMO. Let's just start off with that. Yeah. And especially
Absolutely.
when it comes to house hunting, you're wanting what a lot of other people are getting, or you're wanting to find what, your best friend has, your mom has, what in a home, whatever. So you have to trust the process of buying a home. What does that mean? It's a longer process, so it's not going to happen tomorrow. When you get under contract, you aren't closing on a loan in a week. If you can do that as a lender, you're a pretty good lender. But it's a process, so it takes time. There's things involved with it, so you have to trust that process. You have to trust the timeline. You have to trust your team. You're not missing out on anything. We'll make sure of that. So don't have any FOMO. Just trust the process. With that being said, there is an end goal, obviously, to purchasing a home. So when you're going out and you're house hunting, whether it's by yourself, with your family, keep in mind the end goal that you have, which is to purchase the home that you want. You know your own personal needs. So my suggestion would be to have some type of checklist with you at the homes that you're going to look for, so you can check off, I know a future goal of mine is going to be this. What need do I have for that? Check it off kind of thing, write some notes.
That's a good idea. I like that.
Yeah, which, some people have already pre-made checklists, whether you have a real estate agent that's got something like that for you or whatnot. If they don't, bring something. I always say bring a pen and paper or a pad of paper or something with you, always. So, and then I found a quote online that I kind of liked, and it's by Jim Elliott, who happens to be a missionary. And it says, "Wherever you are, be all there," which I think is super important because you're being present in that moment. And that's really important when you're looking, you're house shopping or you're going to see houses or whatever the case is. You have to be present to do that. So with that being said, you've got to be mindful. So our next kind of bullet point would be practicing mindfulness. So I was thinking about this last night, actually, and how you can kind of be mindful, because there's a lot of different ways. People have breathing, techniques that you can do. Some people don't like that or aren't comfortable with that. But for me, it's like when I'm mindful and I'm thinking about being present, for me, that means exercising. So going and putting out my energy, however that is, whether it's hiking, taking my dog for a walk, whatever the case is. So my suggestion would be do some type of energy output before you go and see homes, or before you have a meeting with your lender, your real estate agent, whatever it is, because I feel like at that point you're expelling all the anxiety and the fears that you might have, and you're coming in with a more relaxed state of mind, so you're present, and that's what my next thing is, be present. So minimal distractions as well. I know that when people are going to look for homes, they want to bring their kids and their family members and their friends and whatnot, and that's great. I would suggest the important people going with you first. So if it's you, again, by yourself, go by yourself. Check out what's going on around you. Check out what's going on with the house. If it's you and your significant other, I would keep it at a minimal person who you're bringing with you kind of thing. Because
who doesn't make that cut? Jeez.
Well, sometimes people bring like their 5 kids with them, which is fine because, you want to make sure that the home that you're buying is suitable for everybody. But maybe go back and do a second home look once you've done the first home look with your significant other or yourself. And then also kind of to touch on what I said previously, to have a pen and paper with you, write out what you see when you're walking around the house. This helps you, I almost feel like, figuring out maybe new goals or new needs that you need in the house as well. Because sometimes people are walking through a house and they don't even realize that they might want something else that they see in the home that they didn't think that they would need. So after each home that you go see, write the address at the top, write out a list of what you liked about the home, what you didn't like about the home, what you think would work, what you think wouldn't work kind of thing, and then go back and review those types of things. I think that's helpful.
Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Just, personal story, when Christine and I were looking at houses years and years and years ago, we went to 11 houses in one day. And after a while, it all starts running together. You forget, well, did this house have that? Or did it not have this? And that's actually a really good idea. If you took notes, you wouldn't have to question whether or not it had a spare bedroom or, whatever the case might be.
Yeah,
good idea.
I think people get really overwhelmed and they're not present when they're looking at a house. Oh, that, the bathroom looks nice, whatever. Be present and write the notes out kind of thing. I think it'd be very helpful for a lot of people. And then balancing advice from loved ones or people who are not going to be going on the loan with you. So I feel like we see this kind of often.
We do.
And it's not a problem to have, second input or somebody that wants to just kind of be your backup and make sure you're doing all your stuff and we're doing our due diligence as well. However, when it comes to you putting in an offer on a home or you liking a home or you house hunting in general, I would keep those people at a shoulder's distance kind of thing, and it just kind of keep them up to date, but don't take everything that they say, verbatim, basically. Yeah. Some people might not like what you like. Some people might not be looking for what you're looking for. Honestly, I'm thinking about like parents, if I'm being honest, totally. Dads or moms, you shouldn't buy that house, or maybe that's not for you. Listen to what you think inside and go from there, kind of thing. So like Tim and I were talking about the other day, the average person buys a couple homes in their lifetime. We as lenders, we close that amount in a month. So we know what we're doing, and real estate agents know what they're doing as well. So we've got your back as well. We're here to listen to anybody that might want to call and ask questions, but at the end of the day, we're here to serve you as the client.
Right.
Yeah. So, and then typically when you're talking with like Tim or I, you're going to say, here's what I'm looking for in a monthly payment. Here's the sales price that I'm looking for. I'm interested in programs. That gives you options to have multiple loan scenarios and run multiple fee sheets for you to show you different options that you could potentially get yourself involved in as the buyer. So I would be asking that question as well. Sometimes if people have just one avenue that they're looking at to go through, it freaks them out and they don't know what to do with that, or they think it's their only option, and if they can't make that work or the ends meet for that option, then it becomes stressful and anxiety in that case scenario for me.
Yeah. I literally had a meeting last night with clients, first time I sat down with them, and they came very well educated, honestly, like knew a lot about the process. First time home buyers, but surprisingly were very well educated, and they were dead set on one type of financing. And we talked about that and we ran those scenarios, and then I said, well, what if we tweaked it a little bit? What if we did this instead? And we changed it up a little bit, and they were like, ooh, I kind of like that one better. Like that payment's better. It's not that much more out of pocket. So having options is always a good thing.
Yeah, no, I think that when people see options, it almost like takes that anxiety level down a bit because, again, you don't have just one thing and one thing only.
Yeah.
And then ask questions. There is absolutely no such thing as a stupid question at all in this industry. Like sometimes people ask questions and I'm like, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked that. Like, I think that's wonderful that you're asking that. So come up with a list of questions that you can be asking a real estate agent, us, and we'll help you figure out those answers to those questions because that alleviates a lot of stress in the home buying process as well. Yeah. With emotion comes obviously what you can be doing yourself. So Tim, what are some post-purchase strategies that you can throw our way to help our people out.
Yeah, so like we touched on in the first part of this episode, the biggest regret that people have is like unexpected expenses or just like general things they didn't know they were going to have to be doing or didn't think about things far enough down the line. So, one of the things that you can do is just ongoing maintenance. And what some people do, and what I do to an extent, is you just create a schedule of annual maintenance things that need to be done. So for instance, I have an HVAC person come out every year to check to make sure that everything's good. I have a pest control system around my house. They come out once a year. I have gutter guards, so I don't need gutter work, but that's kind of an important one. Yard maintenance, things like that. But certain things could go wrong and certain things can be very expensive. If you need to buy a new HVAC system for your entire house, that's tens of thousands of dollars. And that's not really something that a lot of people have laying around. So, if you're performing these maintenance things, and it's kind of a pain, right? Because you are scheduling the time away so that you can do these things, you're paying for it out of pocket. It's generally not a convenient thing, but the fact that you can do this and possibly prevent a large expense down the road is huge, because in general, ongoing maintenance prevents really bad problems from happening. And when really bad problems happen, it's usually expensive, it's unexpected, and talking about emotions, that causes a lot of stress, right? Like it causes a lot of the things that you stress about are like, oh my gosh, do I have enough money saved for that? Yeah. Or do I have, enough limit on my credit card to be able to pay for something like that? Or, oh no, now I need a new HVAC system and, the person that's installing it offers financing, but the terms aren't that great, or whatever the case is. Like that's a stressful situation. So you want to try to avoid those if you can. One of the ways that you avoid that is you have an emergency fund. Just having that fund allows you to feel a little bit more comfortable about the things that need to be done to the house. And so, whether it's you just take a little bit of every paycheck out, or you're the kind of person that works overtime or gets a bonus or a commission or something like that, sock that away in a separate account. A lot of financial experts will tell you should have like 6 months of emergency funds built up. Some people will say 12. Yeah. I think 6 is a good goal to have. I mean, if you can get 12, that's even better, but 6 is a pretty good amount to have, 6 months of all of whatever your expenses are going to be. That could save you the stress of now I've got to rack up high interest credit card debt, or now I've got to go take out a new personal loan and finance all of that. And that's an extra monthly payment that I'm going to have. So having that emergency fund can help you, whether you set it up like an automatic debit from your paycheck or however it is that you do it, but create a savings of 6 months if you can, because I think that's going to help you. And then as far as the improvements that you do make, like prioritize them. Think about the things that you want to do and why you want to do them. You focus on improvements that you need to make. So think about things like, do I have electrical issues with the house, or is there a crack in the foundation? Like things that you need to have done to the house have to take priority. And then I think second after that is think about things that help with the resale value of your home. In general, things like, finishing unfinished square footage like a basement, or, updating a bedroom or a bathroom. Those are the things that get you the biggest bang for your buck. Doing a kitchen, whether it's remodeling a kitchen or expanding a kitchen or whatever the case is. I think, updating a kitchen is a really... It's a good thing that you should be doing. It adds value to your home. And that's why you prioritize it, sort of in that second category. You have the things that you need to do, and then in a subcategory, things that you want to do, prioritize those. Make sure those are the things that are actually going to add value to your home, because, unless you plan on living in that house until you're gone, you're going to have to turn around and sell that house at some point. So let's try to make it as attractive and as appealing to as many people as you can. After that, then start talking about things that like enjoyment. What am I doing to do this house to make it more enjoyable for me? Do I want to, add that man cave or the she shed, or, landscaping to make the outside look better? Like those are all great things, but there are things that could be done before that and probably should be done before that. And so instead of stressing about, I built that man cave in the basement, but now I've got to worry about the electrical issues. Like handle the electrical issues first and then do the fun things after that. And then to avoid all of this altogether, if you wanted, and this is something you should definitely talk to a real estate agent about, is you could just buy a home warranty when you're purchasing your home. Home warranty covers a lot of the major systems of the house, the HVAC, the electrical, the plumbing. things that could be very expensive when they go wrong. And so you buy a home warranty, there's a small deductible that you pay each time somebody comes to your house for whatever service, but the home warranty company will pay these people for the services that are rendered after you meet your deductible. And so instead of spending tens of thousands of dollars on some of these things, you spend a few $100s on the deductible and you get the repairs that you want. Sometimes you buy a house and you buy a home warranty and nothing goes wrong for the year that you have the home warranty and you feel like you wasted your money, but I know people that have purchased a home warranty and they've really gotten value out of it. So it's certainly something it's worth looking into, and it's worth talking to your real estate agent about, because it could save you a lot of money. And today we're kind of focusing on the emotional and psychological aspect of all of this. And so if you're looking to be as zen as you possibly can, you don't want to be spending a ton of money.
No.
Regular maintenance things, create an emergency fund, prioritize the things that you need to do, maybe talk to your real estate agent about a home warranty. I think those are all good post-purchase strategies that help you avoid feeling like, oh man, I really shouldn't have bought this house, or oh, this house is such a money pit.
Yeah.
So focus on those things after you purchase, and I think you'll be okay.
I also want to say, I feel like I just think about when I bought furniture for the first time and it was only like $1,500 worth of furniture. I almost crap my pants. I had buyer's remorse so bad over $1,500 worth of furniture. And after a couple hours, I calmed myself down. I can only imagine buyers feel like that after they purchase a home. It's exciting, and then it becomes, holy crap, what did I just do?
Right.
So you got to get your emotions under check.
Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, listen to Tanner. So there's also, there's various tools and resources that are out there that can help you from becoming remorseful about the things that you buy or regretting the house that you buy. And I'll let Tanner talk about some of those resources and tools.
Yeah. So the first thing that comes to mind is homeownership counseling. There's many different HUD-approved counseling websites that you can go to, and some of them are free. So you can take the homeownership counseling for free. I think it's about an hour, depending on your pace of taking it. But it gives you additional information of what it's like to purchase a home as a first-time home buyer. And if you're looking to use programs when you do purchase, that certificate is something that's needed anyway. And it's good once you take the course. It's good for a full year. Just side note on that. So that's something that you could use kind of on the side if you want additional information that you feel like you're not getting. Podcasts like ours, this is a great podcast to listen to. We try to touch on very important things, and we try to make it, home buyer savvy as well. So anything that a home buyer might encounter or come up with, we want to answer those questions for you or solve those problems. So podcasts like this, ours being number one. I'm just kidding. No, podcasts, There's also apps. So I was doing some research the other day and I found an app. It's called YNAB, and it's literally called You Need a Budget. And instead of focusing on your past transactions, it's now focusing on your future transactions. So it's helping you budget for the future, which sometimes if you're looking in the past, as people know, keep the past in the past. You've already spent the money. Let's focus on future money. Obviously, YouTube. YouTube is great for a lot of things. Even as a mortgage lender, I am all over YouTube.
I use it for general house fixes, things with my car, all the time.
So
all the time.
Do
There's
it
a lot of good info out there.
Yeah, the DIYs and stuff like that. So if you've got instead of hiring a whole landscaping team, go on YouTube and see if it's something that you can do yourself, you and your family or whatever. So YouTube is a great resource in my opinion. So also online forums and committees like Facebook, Reddit, Twitter, things like that. They all have different forums.
X, not Twitter.
Oh, sorry. Gosh, yeah. X. My bad. Thank you, Tim. But Reddit. I don't know if you've ever gone on Reddit, but I have gone on Reddit before and I've read some threads and I've gotten good information from it. So, do your research online, but if you happen to be directed to a Facebook group or Reddit or whatever, don't discard them. They have good information in them, in my opinion. And two more good apps that I had found. One of them is Neighborhood Scout app, and that gives you the neighborhood information of the specific neighborhood you're looking up, and it gives you analytics of the neighborhood. So that's something if that is a topic of, when you're going out house hunting and you want to get in a good neighborhood, look up that app. And then another one is called the Great Schools app, and that basically rates and reviews schools in the area. So you can put in the school that you're looking for, or the school that's in the area that you're looking to purchase, figure out information on the school, see if it fits what you're looking for. But apps like that I think, amazing in order to get yourself calm.
You did a lot of research in this.
I did. I want to help you. I want to help you guys.
Yeah,
so,
that's great.
Yeah,
Good job.
there's so many different other apps, but these are the ones that stood out to me, and these are the different tools and resources that we have. Do you have anything else to add, Tim?
No, I think like we said before, lean on us for questions, and we've got answers. If we don't have answers, we are resources. We can find the answers for you. Lean on real estate agents. They know a ton about things like what you should be doing to your house. If you have an issue with prioritizing what you need to do, talk to a real estate agent. They'll tell you. You get more bang for your buck. You get more return if you do this versus this. Just a lot of little things. I don't know that a lot of people would think to call their real estate agent when they do a home improvement. They think they're going to call their contractor. Or maybe they even call us to get some money to do it. But calling your real estate agent, there are times that people that you already know can help you, and you might not even know that they can help you. So just reach out. We know a lot of good real estate agents that deal with this kind of stuff all the time, and they'd be happy to help.
Yeah, and I think people really are hesitant to ask certain things because they, for whatever reason, ask whatever you need to ask, because I think that also helps alleviate a lot of people's anxiety and stress about it. Again, there are no stupid questions. Ask them, because like Tim had said, we have, more than likely we have answers, and if we don't, we're calling people to get the answers. So
and it's likely that we've heard that question before. That's probably not the first time we've heard it. So ask away.
I agree.
All right. Well, we hope that you enjoyed our podcast this time, part 2 of home buyer's remorse, things that you regret, ways to avoid it. We really want to make sure, just like the real estate agents that we work with, when you buy a house, we want to make sure that you are happy with it. And no house is perfect, and no person's perfect, but there are some strategies that you can develop along the way that sort of help make buying a house, owning a house, paying for all the things that need to go along with owning a house a little bit more palatable. So hopefully you found this really insightful. And Tanner, thanks for all the research you did. That was pretty cool this time.
Yeah. Have a great day.
All right. Bye.
Bye.